Rainbow Warrior here. This tutorial is designed to show you how to crochet a bikini bottom. This pattern is really simple and will show you how to increase and decrease in order to get that perfect shape for your bikini bottoms. I'm going to show you the materials that I'm working with, and it's really important that you adjust this pattern for the materials that you're using. So don't be afraid to change the number of stitches and rows in order to get your perfect fit. This pattern is meant to be adjusted, and don't forget to make changes as you go in order to create the style of bikini that you want. I am working with a cotton yarn by the name Sugar and Cream. It is a worsted weight yarn, and I'm using a size 4mm hook, which is slightly smaller than the recommended size to give me a nice tight gauge. Also, I will need scissors and a tapestry needle to cut and sew my ends in. Our foundation chain is going to be the top of the front panel of our bikini bottoms, so it's important to determine how many stitches you need for this correct width. We're going to decrease down to 6 stitches. We're going to crochet our bridge here and then increase back up for our back panel of our bottoms. We're going to start with a slip knot, and placing that on our hook, we're going to chain the necessary number that's going to get us that width we want for our front of our bikini. So this number is going to be different for everyone, depending on the materials you're working with, your yarn and your hook, as well as your body size and the style of bikini bottom you want to make. My foundation chain is going to reach from one hip to the other hip, and based on my materials that I'm working with, I'm going to need to chain 40 to get this measurement. Once your foundation chain is the correct width for your bikini bottoms, we're going to begin our first row. We're going to start by chaining +1, and now we're going to begin single crocheting in the second chain from the hook. To single crochet, we reach into a loop, yarn over, and pull through a loop. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through another loop, completing our single crochet stitch. And continue single crocheting, placing a single crochet in each chain space all the way down our foundation chain. Once you've crocheted all the way down the chain, row 1 is complete. Second row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 counts as our first stitch, and we're going to single crochet in our second stitch and all the way down this row. After this row of full single crochet, I'm going to begin decreasing. However, you may want to do a few more rows, especially if you're making shorts or high-waisted bottoms. Then just crochet as many rows as you need until you are ready to start decreasing. And then you're going to begin the decrease pattern that I show you. If you're crocheting bottoms that are much smaller and your foundation chain is much smaller, then be sure to crochet a few rows and then decrease when you need to in order to get the correct length for your front panel. After my second row, I'm ready to begin my decreases. The pattern is going to decrease evenly on the sides by 2 stitches for each row. So we're going to chain 1, and as I mentioned, the chain 1 counts as our first stitch. We're going to skip over our second stitch and single crochet into our third stitch. So this decreases us by 1. There's our chain 1 and our next stitch. So we decrease by 1 stitch. We're going to single crochet all the way down this row until we get to the last 2 stitches. We are going to skip over the second to last stitch and place a single crochet in our last stitch, decreasing by another single crochet on this side. We're going to repeat, so to show you again, chain 1, turn, our chain 1 counts as our first stitch, skip over our second stitch, single crochet into the third stitch, single crochet all the way down into the last 2 stitches, where we will skip over our second to last stitch, and crochet into our last stitch. I am going to repeat this decrease pattern, decreasing by 2 stitches on each row until I have 6 stitches remaining for the underneath of my bottoms. This number may be a little bit different if you're working with a completely different size yarn, but for me this magic number is 6. So now that I have 6 stitches remaining, it's time to crochet the little bridge between our 2 panels. So we're just going to do single crochet rows, chaining 1, turning. That chain 1 counts as our first single crochet stitch, and we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across. Once we get to the end of the row, we're going to chain 1 and turn and continue crocheting these single crochet rows until we have the correct length for this bridge. We want to make sure the length is just right, so that way our 2 panels are covering everything that we want them to. My length is just right. I have crocheted 12 rows of single crochet, and now it's time to begin increasing for our back panel. So to increase, we're going to chain 1 and turn. The chain 1 counts as the first stitch, and we're going to place another single crochet into this first stitch. So we've increased by 1 on this side. Now we're going to single crochet across the row until we get to our last stitch. And we're going to place 2 single crochets in this last stitch. There's 1 and 2. So increasing by 1 on this side. And we are going to repeat this pattern. So again, chain 1. The chain 1 counts as the first stitch, and we're going to place another stitch, single crochet across, and place 2 single crochets in the last stitch. You're going to continue single crocheting these rows until you have the necessary width for your bikini bottom. I have now increased to the correct width I need for the back of my bikini bottoms, but I still need more length in order to cover everything. So now that I'm done increasing, I am just going to rep some single crochet rows until my length is just right. Now that I've finished the last rows of my bottoms, it's time to crochet around the edge to finish our work. So we're going to place 1 more single crochet in our last stitch to help us turn to the side here. And as we crochet along the edge, we're going to place 1 single crochet for every 2 rows. So placing 1 after every 2 single crochet rows. We are going to do this all the way down the edge until we reach back to the corner of our front panel and reach our original foundation chain. Once you've crocheted down the edge and reached the corner of the top of your front panel, we're going to place 3 single crochets in the corner stitch, and then we're going to single crochet along the opposite side of our foundation chain. So just placing a single crochet in each chain space, and then placing another 3 single crochets in our next corner here, and then single crocheting back down this edge, placing 1 single crochet for every 2 rows. The last step is to create ties for the sides. I made mine by simply making a chain long enough to tie in a bow. So I really hope that this pattern was helpful to you in making bikini bottoms. My goal was to show the basic construction so that you can adjust it and add any sort of designs and embellishments, make it to your desired style as well as to your perfect fit. So don't be afraid to make changes, especially if you're working with a different size yarn or hook. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me them down below in the comments section, and I will do my best to help you. If you're looking for a pattern for a bikini top, I will leave links that you can click on that will take you to my pattern. As well, I will leave a link to this written pattern, so if you need any further information, that will be down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like this pattern and check out my other tutorials.